What's up, guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Listen, man, y'all know why now is your time. I got a special guest. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about a lot of things.
Let's go.
But, man, listen, man, welcome to the podcast, big dog.
Appreciate you, baby. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So talk to me, man. So tell us a little bit about leadership and why is it so important for you to have the right leadership?
Man, you know, number one, appreciate you having me on the show.
Yes, sir.
Talked the other day, and you know that's really my passion, man. I've been in leadership for about 3 decades.
Okay.
And I just remember the path that I went on when I graduated college.
Gotcha.
You know, the one thing that I wanted to do, I wanted to get into leadership, right?
Mm.
And so, you know, I took a job. This is back in the early 90s when I graduated. So I'm going back.
Come on.
And so I'm interviewing. I'm looking for a job. Couldn't really find that. I got my degree in marketing.
Come on.
And they kept telling me, hey, you don't have any experience. We want somebody with some
Okay.
experience. You need some experience. And I was like, okay, cool. So I took the first job.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I was at the house with the moms. I need.
I gotta get on something.
Yeah, I gotta get on something. And
Yeah.
so I took a job, man, as a phone sales rep.
Okay.
So in a call center.
Mm.
So I took that job, and my focus was, man, how do I get into leadership? Right?
Mm.
And so from that point, I started just positioning myself. I
Gotcha.
got into a leadership development program that
Mm.
the company was offering, and then I applied for like supervisor role.
Oh, of course.
And so then I had this one manager. She told me that you know, I didn't get the job the first couple of times around.
Yeah. So you had to go through a whole strenuous
A
process.
process, man. And so she was telling me that I didn't have what did she say? Leadership presence.
Mm. What that look like though? Leadership presence.
Man, I didn't know what she was talking about. Like, I'm like, you know what I mean? I didn't know, man.
Okay.
I'm just not getting into the corporate
Mm.
arena. Right? I'm like, what
Gotcha.
leadership presence? I mean, I'm, you know, my stature, the way I present,
Come on.
articulate. I mean, it's like, what do you mean?
Mm.
And so I had to do some real soul searching and say, okay, what does she mean? Like, for example, when you're in a room, when you're in a meeting, you got to find a way to add value
Ooh, come on, talk about it.
in the conversation. Like,
Mm.
what are you just sitting there listening, or are you adding something to the
I like
conversation?
that.
And so I found myself being, you know, I was always listening and just trying to take everything in, but I wasn't assertive enough.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I was kind of, what I won't say shy, but
Yeah.
just in a corporate space, not
I got
like
you.
my space.
Yeah, you couldn't really like try to navigate it, figure
Trying
it
to
out.
figure out how to navigate the politics and you know
Mm.
the who's who. And so from that point on, man, I just really dove into like leaders, speakers.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I was walking around with, now I'm making $5.77 an hour.
Come on, dude.
You know what I mean?
They're gonna be like $5. What you talking
Yeah,
about?
five cents. But I got commissions, and
Okay,
so
I got
I
you.
would make a little bit more money on that. But
I got
still,
you.
what, $20,000 a year?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't care about the money. I wanted to position myself to get into leadership. And so from that point, that just kind of put me on a quest for like listening to leaders, reading books,
Got
you
you.
know, sales books,
Got you.
Les Brown, all of that. So that's kind of where it started
All
out.
right, so let's dive into some questions real quick. So when we look at the landscape of humans, okay,
What's the humans?
Yeah. What are some of the leadership qualities that we see that most humans are lacking?
Man, empathy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So some people get into leadership positions and it's about the title to them.
Okay.
They just want the authority. They want
Mm.
position. They want to be in control. They
I
want
got
to,
you.
you know, be able to tell people what to do.
Mm.
But I think some of it is emotional intelligence. It's empathy.
Got you.
It's connecting with people.
Mm.
Right? It's easy to tell people what to do, but in order to inspire people and to really
That's a
connect with
big
them,
difference.
like as a leader, you have to be able to inspire people
Mm.
and then also hold them accountable at the same time.
Okay. So how did you like as a kid, did you feel like you was a leader as a kid, or did you grow into this leadership?
You know, what's funny is that people tell me that, but I didn't feel like that.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I was, you know, I was shy. I grew up in South Park, Sunnyside
Mm.
area, and in elementary, my older brother and I got bussed over to, from South Park to
Gotcha.
the southwest side of town, all white, to a magnet school. And
Gotcha.
so I was kind of shy and kind of reserved
Mm,
being in an environment where I was the only black kid in the classroom.
gotcha.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say that I was just like a leader. That didn't really start to until I started playing ball
I got you.
in high school. You know what I mean? And so those leadership qualities started to come up, but it took me a minute to get there.
Mm. Okay, so one thing I do like about leadership, because do you think that leaders are born or they're created?
You know, that's an age old question. I mean, I think everyone has the capacity and the
Okay,
ability in them, but it has to be cultivated and developed
I got you.
over time.
I
And
got you.
some people have natural traits,
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? But when you get into leadership, it's not just you,
Mm-hmm.
it's your ability to lead others.
Ooh, that's
You
good.
know what I'm saying? So you may be good at whatever you do, but that don't make you necessarily
I
a
got
leader.
you.
So I think you got to develop those and cultivate those skills.
I kind of agree though, because the one thing I learned about leadership is, as a leader, you have to become a great teacher too.
Right.
So a lot of times, us being leaders, to me, because like one of my main goals is to help 100 people become a millionaire,
Yeah.
and to help 1,000 people to get job free.
Okay.
And so that's one of my personal main goals. But to me, you can't do that unless you got great leadership.
No, that's 100%. So one of my quotes, I think, is Zig Ziglar,
Okay,
and he said that I can have, and this has been my mantra
come on,
my entire leadership career.
come on.
I can have whatever it is that I want in life if I can help enough people get
Get
what
what
they
they
want.
want out of life. Yeah.
Meaning, if I want to be promoted, then I got to be helping other
Mm,
people develop and grow.
got you.
You know what I mean? So my focus is always how can I help develop other people?
That's good,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of times people get so wrapped up into their own life,
Oh man.
they never really look at, like, how have I truly helped somebody versus help myself. But I think a lot of us get into this stagnant mode of, like, well, if I ain't helping I gotta help myself first before I help somebody else. But you just said something, because I learned this way back when I used to sell prepaid legal. If you help enough people get what they want out of life,
Yeah.
you gonna get what you want out of life. But that goes to having the correct mindset.
It's all about the mindset, man. If you're selfish and you're like I talk to leaders all the time. People know when you're disingenuous.
They do.
Your team knows when you
Yes.
don't care anything about them. You just care about the
Mm,
stats that they deliver,
mm,
and you only care about yourself. And
mm.
so you typically don't get the best out of people when that's how you operate. They'll
Got you.
they'll do what they have to do because they don't want to get the retribution behind it.
Got you.
But you're not really developing people.
I
You know what
like
I mean?
that. So look, we're at the 10-minute mark. So I like to play this game, okay?
Okay. Okay.
There's a game that I play,
Okay.
and it's
What's that
called
about?
the word game. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you 2 words.
Okay.
You tell me, do you need both of them to be successful, or you need none of them? All
Okay.
right. The first word is cocky and confidence. Do you need both? Or you only need one? Or do you only need none of them?
Well, I can tell you for sure, you definitely need confidence.
Okay, okay.
You definitely, you cannot be a leader and
Mm,
not be confident.
okay.
People are looking for confident and competent leaders.
Okay.
Um, the cocky piece, I'll say, you got to have a little swagger to you.
I got you.
You got to have a little bit of that.
Something.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
people aspire to be that
Mm,
way, right? And so I think you need definitely confidence, but you need a little bit of that
I got
that
you.
that, that cocky swagger too.
I love it. The second one is money or mindset. Do you need both, or you need none of them to be successful?
Mindset for sure, because
Mm,
listen, the money's gonna come. Here's another mantra that I had. I never took a job because of the money.
okay.
You know what I mean? It wasn't about the money.
Mm,
When I finally got promoted
got you.
to the supervisor position, right? I went into the office and I killed the interview. I go into the office. Italian cat. He was the VP, and so he said, "Hey,
Mm,
he called me in the office. And, hey, you know what, James? We want to offer you the supervisor position." I'm like, "All right, cool, bet." I'm like, and it was only like $21,000 a year. I mean, I guess back then, if you look at the time value of money,
yeah.
maybe, yeah, I don't know.
60.
Nah, I don't think it's 60.
About 40?
Listen, dude. Here's the point. I was making about that much as
Okay.
an agent
Okay.
doing sales,
I
right,
got
with
you.
my commission.
Mm,
And this is why a lot of the older cats that trained me when I first got on.
got you.
I mean, okay, now I'm in my 20s. These cats like early 30s,
Mhm.
late 20s or whatever. They know the game. They making a big commission.
Yeah.
And they like, no, this is what you got to do. Here's how you go ahead. And so they never went. They could have been leaders,
Got you.
but they just wanted the money.
Got you.
And they said, hey, no, I don't want to be a soup because we make more money than supervisors
I
do.
got you.
So when I got the offer, it was like 21,000. Man, I walked out in the hallway. I'm like, man, I think he just got me because I ain't negotiate. I didn't come back with no rebuttal.
Got you.
I ain't know nothing about.
You just wanted to, yeah, they told you the number, you was just like, I'm gonna jump
Yes.
on it real quick.
Right. Because to me, getting the title was and the position was more important than the money
That's
at the
good.
time.
That's good. All right, the next one is passion or purpose. Which one more important, or do you need both?
I think you need both of those. You got to understand what your purpose is, because if you don't understand your purpose, it's hard to have real, true passion about something. You can be passionate about something that ain't got nothing to do with your purpose, and it'll work for a little bit, but it'll eventually fizzle
That's
out.
true.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
So if you understand your purpose and then you add that passion to it, then yeah.
And I think people tend to forget that the Bible says that your gift make room for you. So to me, when you tap into your purpose, that's like tapping into your gift.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's a lot of people that's having passion projects but not getting successful because you're just passionate. It's not your gift. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
God not gonna make room for it
Right.
because it ain't your gift.
It ain't your gift.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, and the other thing, man, is that sometimes people don't realize that sometimes their passion is birthed out of some pain.
Yes.
You know, I mean, you got to go through whatever you got to go through
Yes.
to sometimes, find that purpose, right?
Mm.
But if you get on the other side of that pain, you might find what that purpose is. So yeah, you definitely got to have purpose, man.
I like that. All right. So pain, all right, versus problems. Which one is more important when it comes to you becoming successful? So let me give you an example. Is it the pain that causes you to become successful, or is it the problem that you help other people solve? So this is a tricky question. So which one's more important, or do you need both of them?
You know, I think the pain is the well, let me answer it this way. I just spoke at an academy
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago with I think it's K through 12, but I was talking to like the eighth graders and sixth graders and all of that. So it was a career day,
Okay.
right? Career day. And so what I shared with them was that, and these are the young, I said,
Yeah.
people that solve problems
Mm.
will always be valuable.
Mm.
So to me, as a leader, if you're not solving problems,
Got you.
that means you got to go find the hard stuff.
That's true.
Like people want it easy, but if you're a problem solver,
Yes.
then I think that's more important than focusing on the pain. I'm trying to get past the pain to what's the problem.
Mm,
The
that's
pain may
good.
just be the symptom.
Yeah.
The problem is the root.
I
So
like
I'm
that.
gonna say solve problems is the most important.
I like that. All right. Next thing is one thing, can you tell us 3 books that you recommend the next generation read outside of your book? We'll talk about your book in a minute. We'll talk about your book in a minute. But outside of your book, what are 3 of the top books that have helped you get to where you at?
Oh man, that's good. I just
And you can go you can go throwback, because me, I done read over 1,000 books. So like, Who Moved My Cheese? I mean, I done read so many books.
I was gonna say
Okay.
that's a simple one because
Okay.
I kind of modeled my book
Okay.
behind the Who Moved My Cheese.
Okay, I
Very
got you.
simple concept,
I got you.
right? That you can just follow, easy to follow.
Yes.
You don't have to have some big massive
Dictionary.
massive books to read. You know, I'm a big John Maxwell fan.
Okay.
I'm a certified John Maxwell facilitator.
Got you.
You know, I think one book that just really resonates with me, and I actually teach on the curriculum now when I'm doing like consulting and all of that. It's Everyone Communicates, Few Connect.
I love that.
Everyone communicates, few connect. The Who Moved My Cheese, and then Developing the Leader Within You.
Oh yeah, John C. Maxwell. Yeah, I read that one. Yeah, because this is the thing I tell people. These days, I don't read books. I listen to them now.
Yeah.
But I use Speechify.
Not Audible?
No, because Audible only limits you to 2 books.
Okay.
All right. So what this the only thing I like about Speechify
Uh-huh.
is you gotta take pictures of the book though.
Yeah.
So you take pictures of each page. So
Okay.
it usually take me roughly about an hour. Take picture of the 200, 300 page, whatever.
Right.
And then I start playing it back.
Okay.
And then it allows me to highlight the words. You know what I'm saying?
You know, and I'm gonna say 2 more because I just
Okay, go.
I
Okay.
just read these. Atomic Habits.
Oh, that's a good one. I read that one.
Atomic Habits, and there's another one, Multipliers.
I don't think I no, that was on my list. I don't think I read that one yet.
Multipliers.
Yeah.
And it talks about whether you're a multiplier or you a the opposite of that. Is this your leadership style?
Okay,
You
gotcha.
know, and then are you adding or are you taking away? Are you detracting or you promoting?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's a real good one, like Multipliers and Atomic Habits.
Yeah. The one I just read too is Buy Back Your Time
Okay.
by Dan Martell.
Okay.
And then SOS as a service, which is using software as a service.
Mhm.
So like I'm really big on understanding technology.
Mhm.
People think AI gonna take our job. I don't think so. I
No.
think it's just an enhancer if you learn how to use it correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't really too much. Oh, it's gonna take our job. I'm like, if you're being lazy, of course, but it's not gonna be able to just fully take our jobs.
Listen, here's the thing, man. You have to pivot.
Yes.
And sometimes you're pushed to pivot,
Yes.
but you have to pivot. Now, I worked in wireless for years at Verizon, Primeco, and so I just remember before we had smartphones,
Yeah.
right?
Beepers.
I mean, all of it. And I remember just talking to my team, and I had about 1,200 employees, and they were just so nervous about the
Mm,
smartphones and the technology,
mm.
text messaging.
Yeah.
We were selling $5 text messaging packages,
Come on.
and you get 100 text messages or whatever it is, right? They're like, nobody's gonna use that. I said, listen, the one thing about technology is that you cannot stop it.
You're not gonna
You're
stop
not
it.
gonna stop it. So, nah, man,
Embrace
you
it.
gotta embrace it. It's shifting, and you
Hmm.
gotta listen. You gotta know how to shift.
All right. So back to we're gonna play acronym game. So I'm gonna tell you acronym. I'm
Okay.
gonna tell you what I think about this acronym. I'm gonna say the acronym out loud, and you tell me what it means to you.
Okay.
All right. First one is rich. Acronym: residual income creates happiness. What do rich mean to you?
But hit me with the acronyms. I think rich is just a state of, comfort and like, do you have everything that you need? And are you
Mm,
taking care of all of the necessities? Or do you have peace, right? I mean, you can be rich and not have $1 million in a bank,
that's true.
right? So I'm talking about a rich state of mind.
Hmm.
Like for me, it's always like the state of mind. The stuff is the stuff.
Of course.
To me, like you can have $1 million and be poor
Mm,
mentally.
I agree. The next one is faith. For anything, I trust him. What do faith mean to you?
Fate means, you know what? We all have a destiny, but we have control.
That's true.
I am the author of my fate.
Yes.
Like I control my fate. It's
Yes.
not life just don't happen to me.
Mm-mm.
I make life happen.
Yes.
So you, in many respects, control your fate or your destiny by what you do.
Mm. All right. The next one is make sure I got because I have to make sure I put them in my notes. The next one
You got
is
notes over here. I ain't got
the next one is money. Money stands for momentarily owned, not externally yours. What do money mean to you?
um what does money mean to me? Like, I'm not like everybody like money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I got to get my paper in my
Yeah.
but I purpose that I don't let money rule me.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how much money. Listen, I've been up and I've been down.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Paul said, listen, I've in all states, I learned to be content.
In all states.
I have plenty and I've had lack. And
Mm.
so I don't get caught up in a money thing. Like it doesn't define me.
Gotcha.
I mean, it's a tool. So
It's
money
a
is a
tool.
tool.
That's why I said momentarily owned, not externally yours.
It's just
Because money to me, and me and my wife talk about this all the time, it allows us to create memories. Because at the end of the day, if I die tomorrow and I got $5 million in my bank account, they're not putting that money in there with me. I'm telling you right now. They're not putting it in there.
Not to bury that with. I don't care what nobody. It ain't going in.
ain't going in there. So I think it's got to be a different perception of what's going on. So let me ask you a question. So over the last 20 years of your life, all right, what are some of the common mistakes that you have made that you would want to share with people so that they can help them, they can help the next generation when it comes to not only leadership but just being successful?
Honestly, you've got to be self-aware.
Yes.
Like you really, because you can be up and you can get in that
Quick.
pride and that ego,
Quick.
and you think like you the man, you the
Mm-hmm.
woman, like you got all the stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
then you lose everything else that connects you with people
Mm.
because you're not self-aware. Like, understanding your blind spots,
Mm.
understanding your weaknesses, always
Mm.
doing a you know, what we call our SWOT analysis,
Oh
personal
yeah.
SWOT
Yeah, yeah,
analysis.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
got I got to check
Your
myself
strength, your weaknesses, your
because
opportunities. Yeah,
as you evolve, things change,
that's true.
and so you got to check in and see where you at. So
Mm.
for me, just like self-awareness, and then just exercising good judgment and having a mentor,
Yes.
having
Yes.
somebody that you can talk to that can pull your cord and
Yes.
to pull your coattail and say, hey man, you need to dial it back a little bit.
Look, I tell people this all the time. If your mentor don't have a mentor, y'all both students.
Right.
So me personally, like I just took a lighting class.
Okay.
I'm like, man, how can I get better lights in here?
Right.
All right. A couple months ago, these cameras were sold out and they finally got in stock. So I'm like, okay, I want to make better quality.
Right.
So this one of them right here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so I ordered them, they coming in. So I'm always trying to get better in whatever I'm doing.
Forever a student.
Forever a student. My next book, they might not like the title because my uncle is a minister.
Right.
He's like, nephew, you write another book? I'm like, yeah, but you ain't gonna like the title. You know what I'm saying? The name of the title is How I Got to the Fucking Bag. That's my title.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I asked some other group of people, they said, bro, I'll read that.
Right.
So, I mean, everybody has their own different audience.
It relates.
And relates.
Yeah.
So, take us on this journey. So, in the next 10 years, where you want to see yourself? Like, what are some of the things that you want to do to feel like you're completing this task in life in the next 10 years? What are some things you want to do?
Man, I think for me, and we've been locked in since we
Yeah.
met.
Come
Was
on.
was that what 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
Was it 2 years
It
ago?
has, yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and
Yeah.
we ain't even talked about that. Just I was at a networking event. We
Yeah.
ran into each other, and I was promoting my
Mm-hmm.
leadership, my book, and
I
just
bought that book that night.
yeah,
Yeah.
we just kind of connected.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, man, I just really want to impact the lives of the next generation of leaders. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like if I could mentor, 1,000
Yes.
young leaders,
Come on.
you're right, and impart into them all of the wisdom, all of the mistakes, and everything that I've made.
Come on.
Just share some of the best practices, some key learnings, so that
That's
you
true.
don't have to go through some of it. Because things are changing.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Just even on the leadership front
Mm.
and the generations. And I talk a lot about managing across generations.
Mm.
Like we've got baby boomers in the workforce, we've got Gen X, we've
Come
got
on.
millennials, we've got Gen Z, and they're all in the workplace at the same time.
Yes.
And people struggle with connecting.
That's what I'm saying, because I think because social media is allowing us to post but never connect.
Right.
So like we go through watching all these videos. So I was proud of myself last week because it said I was 2 hours down from screen time. You know what I'm saying?
I got that on my phone.
I was proud of myself. I'm like, yes. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to spend less time. Like I try to post and go. You know what I'm saying? And what's crazy is I learned that because I get to deal with a lot of different ages of customers.
Right.
From podcasts. So some of them be 18, 19, 20, some of them be 30. I get to see all of their ages and kind of see their mindset.
Right.
And it's pretty crazy because they got their group of people, whether you believe it or not. They got a group of people listening to them.
For sure.
So it's like you gotta see how can you relate to them at where you're at.
So, but you know what it is though, like because we talk about the next 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Helping and teaching. How do you compartmentalize and how do you create
Yes.
balance and all of that? Right.
Yes.
Like you go to a concert right now. I had to check myself because we
Okay.
had shows and like you film. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna look at this after this. Why am I filming?
That's true. That's
Let
true.
me enjoy the
Enjoy the
moment. And
moment.
so it's like, how do you be present? How do you be
Mm.
present and enjoy this moment? Because
Mm.
you're not going to get this moment back. And
Mm.
so as you're developing leaders, you got to be able to connect with people and be in the moment.
That's
It's
true.
not getting on to the next task. So for me, mentoring, consulting, developing the next generation of leaders before I get to the point to where, hey, I'm out the game,
Yeah.
right? So for me, I definitely want to do that. And of course, our podcast, our Love and Truth
Oh
podcast,
yeah.
my wife and I, that those are my two big the
Hmm.
next 5 years from now.
Yeah.
It's my global leadership solutions,
Come on.
coaching and consulting business,
Hmm.
really pushing that out there, and then our Love and Truth podcast.
Yeah, and I, I really, my biggest thing is when I try to talk to the younger generation, I be like, man, I bet where you was at
Right,
because they was like, man, how you getting money? Like, what are you doing? This is all you do? I'm like, me and my wife got other little side businesses we do too. This is not just it. This is
right,
just a place where we make money, but we got other businesses and stuff on the side.
right,
But they're intrigued on how do you get there. And so first of all, I tell them I didn't become job free till I was 39 before I
right.
became job free. So I worked at the railroad for almost 10 straight years from 30 to 39, 39 and a half. I worked at the railroad, didn't miss one day. And look, what's so crazy is my wife one time she sent me a text message and she said, "Look how many hours you working for these people when you can be working for yourself."
That hit you, didn't it?
It hit me hard.
Yeah.
She said, "You worked 1,000 hours of overtime when you got a gift and you playing with it." And I told you that quit that job and I'm a take on the burden if something happened. But me being stubborn and being a man,
Being a man, yeah.
I could have been quit, but I was like, I need to make sure I got this and this. She's like, you wasting time. You need to go ahead and
Wow.
quit. And so I ended up quitting. And I ain't touched a job since I'm 45, so but 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And so and people, I tell people it take a while. Don't just listen to one story on YouTube. 22-year-old kid makes that's like the rare.
Man, look, and then you got everybody's trying to sell you their program, their
Yeah.
you do this. Here, y'all become a millionaire,
Yes.
podcaster.
Yeah.
Hey, set up a podcast studio. I mean, everybody's got a story about how they can help you make
They
money,
do.
but there's a process
It's a
that you
process.
have to go through, right?
It's tough.
Whether you're trying to be an entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and the reason why,
Or corporate
or
America.
corporate America, right? And the reason why I'm so big on leadership is because even if you
Mhm.
decide to step out and
Mhm.
become an entrepreneur and then you
Mhm.
begin to grow, you begin to scale and you
Yes.
hire people,
Yes.
how you gonna deal with those people?
That's true.
Are you a visionary? Do you have the leadership
Mhm.
acumen to really manage
That's true.
people and personalities
That's true.
and challenges and those types of things? That's why leadership is universal. It's transferable. It doesn't
It
matter if you're
is.
corporate, if you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, whatever it is.
Mhm.
You've got to be able to lead effectively.
Man, so what do you go back and tell your younger self so that your life look different today? What do you go back and tell your younger self, like 10 years, 20 years, whatever age, what do you go back and tell your younger self so that your life look different today?
Man, I listen. I As I began to grow in my career, um, I'm making, listen, well over six
Come
figures.
on.
I'm talking about, well, I literally, because with all the stuff going on with the government, they said you need to go pull up your Social Security, the statements or whatever to
Mhm.
show how much you've put in,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And so I went and pulled it up, and I'm like, yo, I went back and it shows you the time periods and
yes.
what you were making
Come on.
year over year,
You
and I'm like,
started progressing, man.
I started looking at like, bro, you blew a lot of damn money doing a lot of dumb
Mm.
shit
Come on.
because didn't have a mentor.
Mhm.
Nobody was talking to me about
Mhm.
financing and investing.
None of that.
I kept listen. It was going so good. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get another bonus. Boom! Every year I'm bonusing. I'm 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 gonna keep getting that money,
Mm.
right? And then boom, 1 year was gone.
So, you know what? And I don't know if you have financial peace.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So financial peace is I like some of the principles, but I also think though I also believe though, to get super successful, you gotta be willing to get in debt.
Yeah.
So you gotta be willing. I mean, I'm not saying go broke. I'm just saying you gotta be willing to put yourself out there, because if not, you will never take a risk. Because people always tell me this. They was like, man, I ain't see you. Because when I told them about the open podcast, I said I was about to open up a content creation studio.
Right.
They was like, what's that, bro?
Right.
They didn't see it, but God already had showed me the vision. My wife was like, what we doing? What we doing? I was like, man, we finna open up this content, this studio. She was like, okay, I'm gonna go with it. You know what I'm saying? But then God shared with me, he said, I gave you the vision. Why are you asking people to validate the vision I gave you?
Right on.
It's for you, not for them.
Mm-hmm.
So stop asking them and just do it. Now, guess what my friends say? Oh, dog, I seen
I
it.
see you. Yeah, trying to listen. I literally was listening to Mike Jones on my way.
Come on, back then.
Didn't want me. Now you all on it.
Yeah.
But now for me, it'd be like go back and just be a little bit more wiser about how you manage your finances, investment. You know, setting things up the right way.
Yeah.
Not just living in the moment. You know, it was good. You know what I mean? Did a lot of, you know, it's listen, I ain't lamenting over it, but
It be like that.
I go back and look at it and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why me and my wife are so big on building.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Connecting with the right people,
Yes.
like-minded people. Like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
being intentional, being intentional. And I always tell people, the more successful you become, the more valuable your no become.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, like, I'm literally had people, and my wife was like, let me tell you something, we're not working with you. We're not working with them. When we got the phone with them, she's like, we're not working with them. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you this. This real quick. This ain't even on I guess it's kind of like on some leadership stuff. We got a call from a cousin of mine about doing a show.
Okay.
Right. And we were gonna fly to Atlanta. They're gonna fly you in and you know,
come on,
record one day. Hey, stay one night, record the next day, pay you whatever. And so this was all last week. We supposed to fly next week.
Come on.
And we like, yo, we can do this, man. And it'd be, you know, get the recognition and just like the podcast and just something in our spirit, because you said no. Something in our spirit just says, nah, this ain't aligning with our brand.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
It be like that.
This ain't aligning with what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build. You know, we're not trying to do anything fast. Brand is important, which is why, you know, my line, I am the brand. Our brand means something.
A lot.
You know what I'm saying? And so we just had to say, nah, and they came back. Well, now y'all don't have to do this. And then we thought about it again. And then they're like, well, can we do this? I'm like, nah, man, we ain't with all that. So
yeah, and that's how, and I think that's
being able to say no
is powerful.
It's powerful.
It's super
That's what
powerful.
I would say to my younger self.
Yeah,
say no. To say no.
Yes.
Right. Whether it be helping family members, you know, spending money excessively, you know, trying to please people, just being able to say no. It's okay to say no.
All right. So give us 2 quotes that you live by that can help us get to the next level.
Man, she say quotes. These my quotes. I mean,
yeah, it don't matter if your quotes is quotes you live by.
Yeah, never doing anything solely for money.
What's the mindset behind that?
The mindset is that all money ain't good money.
I got you.
So it's not about, oh, I can make this money, but is it the right money? Is it
That's
the right relationship? Is the right connection? Is the right brand?
That's true.
So as people are trying to build and you're trying to grow, or you want to take a job, you know what I'm saying? I've had people that work for me like, hey, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, hey, did you weigh everything out? I'm not trying to keep you from the opportunity, but I'm saying, ask these questions.
Yes.
And this is when they're looking for jobs outside of the company, leaving my team. Hey, just ask these questions.
That's good questions.
So don't just be the money, because when you divide that over by a year, it ain't really that much money.
That's true.
So never do anything just for money. And then the other one, man, is just that what I said earlier, you know, you can have whatever it is that you want. Just help other people get what they're trying to get.
Man,
focus on other people.
That's good.
Not yourself.
All right. So this is the part of the episode I cross over, throw your alley hoop. Is there any questions you want to ask me?
Oh man. So
I like
think about it. Yeah, you tossed it out there. So what was the biggest roadblock for you? You know, on this journey, it's been what, 5.5 years?
5.5 years. A full-time entrepreneur.
A stumbling block for you that you had to overcome.
mindset and being able to trust my wife when she said, "Boy, you better get out of there." And I'm like, "But," she's like, "You got so much to give." She said, "I see it, and you putting all this effort at this job." So it was the mindset. The crazy part is, I already had wrote my book.
Okay.
8 years prior for even matter of fact, it took me 10 years to release it.
Oh wow.
I had wrote my book already, but I never released it because for some reason I was like, I don't know what they're gonna say. I mean, I'm working a job, I'm giving myself all these excuses. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm giving myself all these excuses, and then that's been my biggest roadblock though.
Okay. And then from a leadership, how would you define your leadership style?
Okay, so for instance, we have 2 editors. I don't think you met one of them.
I think one of them was here one time.
Yeah, Hispanic guy.
Nah.
Oh, it was a black guy. Okay, a black guy. Okay, so I got a Hispanic black guy. So my leadership style is I love to teach.
Okay.
So like what I'm about to do once we get our LED screen here, my podcast is gonna be straight teaching.
Okay.
It's gonna be me on the vibe board teaching, educate. It's gonna be a different type of style podcast that I don't see nobody done it yet.
Right.
Using the vibe board, teaching, popping up, going over different things. So my leadership style is more. I like to do step by step and make it the KISS theory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Keep it simple.
Right.
And they love it. They like, okay, cool. Boom, boom, boom. So like I'm leading these 2 because eventually the vision God showed me was that we're gonna go to a 20,000 square feet in the next 2 years.
Okay.
Half is content creation.
Right.
Which is podcast rooms, photography rooms, stuff like that. But what's gonna make it different is when you go into the rooms, it's gonna be all LED screens in the room. So it's gonna be no more walls. All right. And the other half is for movies, sitcoms. We want to go into that era.
Oh, okay.
So I wanna go into like documentaries and stuff like that.
So you're trying to your team, you got to teach them what
Yes.
you know. So you got to get it all out.
I'm trying to get it to them so that I don't got to show up that much.
Right.
And let them run it like, hey man, it's running like a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's what's most important too. And I think people have if I tell them everything else still ideal, man, look, when God got something for you, you can't take the ideal, man.
That's the other thing. That's like honestly,
come on.
This is the problem that we have sometimes in the community. Listen, people can do whatever they want to do. Like, I can show you everything, but it's still not me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I don't care about sharing.
Me either.
I want to see you up.
I want to see you up.
You know, the biggest compliment to me is when I've had people that I've mentored, developed, trained years ago.
Come on.
Right? You know, I moved to Atlanta, was gone for a few years, came back. You know, I a lot of individuals that I've developed and mentored over the year and led over the years, directors, VPs, business owners, or whatever, right? And when I'm out about in the city, and some that I don't even know.
Come on.
When I say I don't know them, I know who they are, but
yes,
more people knew me than I knew them. But I had about 1,000 employees or so that work for me. So I'm on the stage presenting, I'm doing my thing, representing my team. And that was a proud moment for them. I didn't realize how proud people were of me representing as a Black man, typically one of the only at that level representing the team. And I purpose to represent in a positive, professional way, right? And so years later, when they say, hey, man, you know what? You know, you really inspired me, motivated me. I went to school and got my degree. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't think you realize how much you impacted me back then. And I'm like, bet.
And I think that's an amazing compliment because, again, my wife said the other day, man, people always calling you, Lloyd. I'm like, man, look, I don't know. Because I meet so many different people on podcasts, on different things. And people be like, man, some of them acronyms, man, where you getting that from? Like, I'm coming out with a stack of cards, 77 acronyms.
Okay.
So one side is the acronym, the other side is the mindset behind it. So
that's dope.
It's gonna be 77 cards that you can use in your life so that you can get to the next level. So so what are some of the most important things in your life when it comes to your legacy? Like what you want it to look like? Like at the end of the day, when looking at your gravesite, you got 3 sentences on there. What you want those 3 sentences to say?
Well, you're asking some deep questions, bro. I mean, thinking about it dead right now.
I'm just saying.
Think
It's
about it,
just not being dead, but it's just something to think about because I think
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Yeah,
this is how I look at it.
Yeah.
What if Instagram reset? They have a RIP Instagram, and it resets, and it said they hook your Instagram on AI, and then it starts over, and every day start reposting for you. Like, what are you putting on there so that people can see your legacy? Like, man, this dude right here is, man, because like I got videos from YouTube from when it first started.
Yeah.
So you see a little young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Then you're like, he aging, but hey, that's okay. You know what I'm saying? So what?
You know, I think for me, man, is that, and I'm not gonna necessarily put it in a sentence.
Got you.
It's just like certain things. Like number one, that James was authentic. He was real.
I like that.
You know what I mean? That he generally cared about people's growth and development.
I like that.
That, you know, he was selfless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that he was willing to help anybody that, listen, if you ask, I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That he was passionate about developing other people.
I like
Right?
that.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it would be along those lines. Like,
Yeah.
not about what I accomplished,
But who you
how
helped.
much I helped. And who I helped. Like,
So I got an acronym for hope.
Okay.
You ever heard of an acronym for hope?
Bro, you said you got 77 of them.
Okay, so help other people excel.
Okay.
Because if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you gonna get what you want out of life.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? And the second, I like to attach that acronym to denial. Denial means don't even notice I am lying. People lie to themselves every day. I was lying to myself while I was at that job. Don't even notice I am lying.
This is the acronym to yourself.
To myself.
Don't even notice you lying.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I'm in denial because I'm like, I would have been further ahead if I would have been quit that job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Which I'm not regretting. It's just that I was scared to take a chance.
I feel you, bro. Like, honestly, like coming out of that, because I was comfortable in corporate. Like I told you, I'm making well over six figures since late early 2000s.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Like making six figures.
Come on.
I used to say I was gonna be a six-figure, you know, ninja. Like when I was making 30,000.
Because you already forecasted and seen it.
By the time I get to this, I think it was 33 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be making six figures.
Come on.
That's what I would say.
So how important is it for somebody to forecast their future like you did?
You have to say it, because if you're not saying it, you're not speaking it out of your mouth, putting it out there in the universe, then you really don't believe it.
That's good.
You can't be whispering in your head about. No, you got to say it.
That's true.
And I think listen, check this out. And when I lost it all, and I had to move back from Atlanta.
Come on.
You know, moved to Atlanta. You know, living in a $500,000 crib. Moved back, ain't have shit.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Making six figures down, making, I don't know if I was making 30,000.
Come on.
For a period of time.
But you adjusted though. I think people, you need to give you gotta give yourself grace because you adjusted. You still, because
I had to, you know what, honestly, bro, I had to, because all the mistakes I made, and it was my fault. I made poor decisions, poor judgment, and I had to get out of my old guilt trip. And to get out of my feelings about, what I did and what I could have done differently, man, that's over with. And then once I changed my mindset, I literally said, you can ask my little brother. I said this.
Crazy.
You know what, man? This is probably 2014.
Okay.
2014. Because I moved back in 2012, 2013. So 14, 15, I was trying to get back. And I said, I swear, I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to be making six figures before the end of this year.
Come on.
No, I was probably making about 50, 60.
Yeah. So you going to double your income. You just spoke that into existence.
I said, I'm going to be making six figures before the end of this year.
That's good to know.
Got a call from a recruiter out of the blue.
Come on.
For a solar company.
Come on.
Sonova. Called me. They were starting up. They needed, boom, boom, boom.
Done.
By that August. I think I said that like in May.
So was that, do you believe that was your belief level? I mean, because some people might want to say, well, how did he do that? Like, was that your belief?
I mean, my faith in God, I was just trusting that. I had to just say it like, yeah, man, I'm done with this.
Yes.
I'm done. Listen, I'm gonna be making six figures. I don't know where. I ain't had no interview. I didn't have no prospect. I just knew that I was gonna be making six figures before the end of this year.
It made me think about this other acronym I got. BAR, B-A-R.
What does break?
All right, the B stands for your belief level. The A is your activity, and the R is your results. So you gotta raise.
100%.
You gotta raise that bar. So when you gotta raise it, you gotta say, my belief. You said something earlier too about poor. And there's an acronym too for poor, which is passing over opportunity repeatedly. And so when you got the call, you didn't pass the opportunity over. You just acted on it.
I mean, you know what? And I hadn't worked in solar. I ain't know nothing about it. It didn't matter.
Come on.
See, this is why I say leadership is transferable. I've worked in multiple industries.
Ooh, come on.
And it didn't matter. They like, well, have you worked? Nah. But I had a sales background. I did sales leadership. I've run sales teams, built sales teams, call centers. I've done all of that. And here's what I told the CEO this when I interviewed.
Come on, straight up.
I said, it sounds to me like what y'all are lacking is real strong leadership. And what I know is I'm a strong leader.
So that made me think about this. Transparency becomes currency.
It does.
Because by you being transparent, like me, like people say, I told my wife, I said, man, look at all these podcast episodes we done. We did over 2,000 now.
Oh, wow.
And so I said, you know what? We got to get 10 times better. So that's what I'm saying. Like, people be so complacent to where they at.
Right.
They're not expanding themselves to the next level.
Man, you got to be willing to just take a chance. You got to expand.
You got to.
Listen, you got to get out of your comfort zone. I've seen so many people, well, I don't know if I want to do it. Well, what you going to do? So you're not going to go for the position, but then when you're
somebody else get it,
now you negative and you talk about how they didn't deserve it.
That's true.
Nah, man, you got to put that aside and say, yeah, I'm going. And it didn't matter to me. And every interview I had, it was a close. And I said, you know what? You might find somebody that's been in this industry longer than I have, but what you're not going to find. And I just laid out all my.
So do you think? Because this is my belief. Do you think people buy you before they buy anything else?
Absolutely. That's why we talk about the brand. Like I am the brand.
I got you.
That's really what that comes from. It's like I am a brand. It ain't nothing. It's me. And so, if you can't sell yourself as a leader, that brand, and number one, it's got to be authentic and genuine.
You got to be genuine, authentic. I agree.
You can't be no imposter pretending like you're a leader and you're not. So yeah, it's you.
So let's tap into that. Why do you think people got imposter syndrome, though? Well, I mean, because it's a lot of people I be seeing. I meet them in person. I'm like, this is not the person I met.
Because you know what? I think some people fall into that whole thing of you got to fake it till you make it. But it goes back to your bar.
I got
It's
you.
your belief. And then what's the activity? If you're not putting in the work to actually build your skill set, if you're not reading, if you're not, talking to mentors, if you're not identifying your weak areas.
That's good.
If you're not doing that work, if you're not doing that activity, guess what? You're going to get in that room and you're going to feel like you don't belong in that room.
Come on.
Because you ain't been doing the work.
That's true.
I don't care what room I go into. I feel like I don't care if it's a CEO, CFO. It doesn't matter to me.
Come on.
I feel like I'm supposed to be in that room.
And I think people need to hear that, though, because I think a lot of times people feel like, because it's somebody going to watch this podcast and be like, I mean, they talking spicy, but I mean, they older and I mean, I'm young. It's like people full of excuses. And I tell people, I don't have room for excuses.
Man, nobody cares about all of that.
Come on.
And guess what? You're going to get looked over. I'm telling you, if you want to be a leader, it takes heart to be a leader. It takes courage to be a leader.
Talk about it.
You got to be willing to put yourself out there. Leaders have to make decisions. They got to own those decisions. Like I say all the time, like anytime, if my team's performance is well, I give them all the credit.
Got you.
If we're not hitting it, I take all the blame. You know what I mean? Like,
so a leader must take the blame. He can't pass it on?
No, you can't pass the buck. You got to own it.
Right? Okay, I got you.
You got to own it. You got to acknowledge where it is. And so if I'm going to say, well, hey, you know what? I didn't prepare them. They didn't understand what the vision was. I didn't articulate what the plan was. I wasn't clear about what the plan was.
So which one more important, though? The vision or the mission? Because you got to. Which one is the mission that you on, or is the vision to be understood? Like, which one is most important?
I don't think you can do one without the other.
So you need both.
You need both of them.
Okay.
Right? What's the vision?
Okay.
And then you've got to have a mission statement, because people, the aspirational goal is like, here's the vision.
Gotcha.
The mission makes it very clear. How are we going to do that? What does this really look
The
like?
step, the plan.
The steps, the plan.
I
Like,
got
it
you.
gives you a window into how are we going to do that? What are we really trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Right. So I think you need to have both of them, and leaders have to be able to articulate the vision, and then they got to get down to, okay, well, what's our mission? How are we going to actually make that vision happen?
And I think that's good though, because I have something I always tell people: what bars are you dropping, and what plays are you running? Okay. So the bars is the content you creating.
Right.
The plays is the marketing.
Right.
They come together. You need both of them.
Right.
And so I tell people, you have to create. Like, I got 6,000 posts. You know what I'm saying, on social media.
Yeah.
So you got to create some content, so people get to know, like, and trust you. And after that, once people get to know you, they'll start buying into whatever that you got going on.
Because there's a lot of noise out there. Like, listen, you gotta find your lane, find your space, find your voice,
and kill it.
And even, again, going back to the leadership thing, like, if you're trying, if there's other candidates out there, well, why are you different?
Yeah, that's true.
And you got to be able, you have to come across very clear, concise. You understand what needs to happen, and you make another thing. Leaders have to be able to make decisions.
That's good. All right, so give us one sentence that you feel that somebody need to hear and write down to keep with them as a principle. I'm gonna give you mine. Mine is, life without purpose has no meaning. All right. So what is that one sentence that you can leave? Somebody say, you know what? I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna live by this. What would it be?
One sentence.
One sentence. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But that's why I like to just, what is it? That's why I want you to hear mine, because I think, you know what I'm saying? Because I believe life without purpose has no meaning. So, like, what is that one sentence that James Nelson, the leadership guru, coach, extraordinaire, what is that one sentence?
Here's what I would say.
Okay.
Leadership is always about influence.
Gotcha.
And it's always about people. Remember that leadership is all about
influencing people.
It's not about title. It's not about who's a boss. It's about, how can I influence people?
So before we get off of here, I got to ask you a couple more questions. So what are some principles that you want to leave with people they should live by? Like, give us some solid principles. Let me give you my 3 principles. Life, brand, legacy. Let me tell you how I break it down. I believe everybody needs to design their life, create their brand, and leave their legacy. And then we're going to talk about your book in a second.
For me, I think it's integrity, right? Authenticity.
Gotcha.
Right? And connection, right? And I say those, one of those is actually in the book, because, when I think about being authentic, one of the things that I found is that people that try to put on tend to be something.
Gotcha.
And I'm talking particularly in the corporate
space.
Yeah. They have a short runway. I'm going to be authentically James.
Got you.
Anybody that's worked with me, anybody that knows me, I am me, right? And so that's important to me. And then connecting with people, like, you can't forget about people. I don't care what you do. You got to be able to connect with people, especially in the times where we're so disconnected, right? With technology, we seem like we're connected, but we're really not.
Gotcha.
We're probably more disconnected than we have ever been. And then just integrity, man, doing the right thing.
And doing the right thing even when nobody looking.
That's what I'm saying.
That's my biggest thing. It's like, one thing I want when people meet me, I want to be the same person.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. So we went to this. One of our friends had a grand opening, and there was this guy, man. He kept looking at me. I'm like, man, who this guy is?
Right.
He looking at me hard. I told my wife, man, this boy must want some smoke. But what was crazy was he walked right by me. He said, man, are you Why Now Is Your Time? I said, yeah. He was like, hey, pleasure meeting you, man. I watch all your videos.
So
And
you're ready to, yeah.
but it was crazy. But that just shows you the consistency of putting out content. He didn't know my name. He just knew my Instagram handle.
Right.
And he was like, man, pleasure meeting, man. Thank you for everything you're doing, man. So I was like, okay, I'm making some kind of impact.
Yeah. Yeah. They're connecting with the brand.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I like it. Why now is your time? I love it.
Mm. All right. So any more questions you want to ask before we get off of here? Any more questions?
No, man, this not, dude. I appreciate the platform and the time, man. I listen, the grind, the hustle.
Yeah.
I see it, right, and we connected.
Yes.
And I said, I think I told you that night, hey, we
gonna
gonna work.
We gonna work.
We're gonna work. And I appreciate, man, all that y'all are doing, man. It's a good look.
Yeah, man. Because I just feel like I tell my wife this all the time, because my thing is I'm willing to jump off the ledge without a parachute, but she's like, nah, come on back, put that parachute on, son.
Yeah.
But I'm like, because the impact that you're gonna make with people is so powerful that you're not even gonna when people say James Nelson, because I believe people are assigned to you.
Oh, for sure.
So I believe that people are directly assigned to you, and if you don't fulfill your purpose, you killing them from they fulfilling their purpose.
Right.
And so once I understood that mindset, I was like, okay, God, I hear you. God was like, ain't no competition because we all got our own DNA.
Right.
Acronym.
What's the acronym, right? Yeah, go ahead.
You are designed to notice your assignment. The D is the design, the N is the notice, and the A is your assignment. So tell us about this book, though. Let's talk about it. So why should people buy this book?
Yeah, so basically, I wrote this book, and again, I modeled it after the Who Moved My Cheese, right?
Okay.
And so it's called The 6 C's of Leadership: How to Gain Commitment and Buy-in Early.
I love it.
I wrote the book just after years, and I started going back and reflecting on, hey, what are the things that whenever I took over a team, new industry, promotion,
Gotcha.
new department, there's certain things that I did every single time.
Why 6 though? That was the 6?
Those are the 6.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
They were the 6.
I got you.
So I had a consultant come in. This was several years ago.
Gotcha.
And so he was asking me questions about, hey, what are some of your core values? Like what's most important? What do you want people? And so I wrote these down because these are the things that I wanted my leaders to grab hold to.
I like that.
Right? And so now again, this is in the early 2000s. I didn't write this until a decade or so.
Yeah, so but this is all this is through experience though.
Through experience. Right?
I got you.
And so I said, hey, well, what are those 6 things? And so when I took over the job and I told you I'm with that 6-figure, every job that I accepted,
gotcha,
part of my interview packet
was
I did my 30, 60, 90-day plan. It would be modeled around, hey, well, what are you going to do when you come in?
I like that.
Right? And so these 6 C's were always a part of my interview process.
Got it.
And I said, the first thing I'm going to do is really focus on understanding what the culture is.
So is it, what's your next book? Because I know it's in you. You got more in you.
I got more, but I'm going to go through this one right here.
Okay.
So I want to understand what these 6 C's are.
Okay,
right?
let's break them down. C number 1.
It's culture.
Culture.
Understanding the culture.
Okay.
All too often, leaders come in and they want to make their mark, make a change, and they want to change everything before they really understood you try to make changes too quick.
Yes.
And you haven't talked to anyone. You haven't understood the culture. You don't know who was a leader before you.
That's true.
What do they have PTSD because of the last leader? Like you could be making decisions that's causing the team not to really buy into your vision.
I like that. So culture.
The culture first. Number 2 is communication. I've always found like I had large teams and I had 40, 50, 60, 70 supervisors at times.
Gotcha.
And then, of course, you got your front line. Communication was so important. New generation. You got to know how to communicate with people.
Man, you better.
You got Bob. Bob is a baby boomer, right? Then you're dealing with Gen X. And now you got millennials. And then G's, Y's, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And all of them are on your team. As a leader, you have to know how to communicate with all of them.
That's good.
Right? These young folks might just want to receive text, but no, I need you to come to the office. So communication was the next one. So I focus on building communication protocols.
Love that.
right? Then it's consistency, right? And I say consistency because if I have one leader doing things a certain way, another leader doing it another way, and favoritism starts to creep in, and it becomes a disruption within the team.
That's true.
So I talk about consistency with my leaders. I say if we're doing it wrong, we're gonna all do it wrong.
I got you.
So we're gonna be consistent.
Okay.
Right? I say if you get those three right in that first 30 days and you establish that with the team, now you can start building collaboration because they don't really know you yet.
Nah.
They don't know.
They got to fill you out.
They got to fill you out. They don't know. They jockeying for position. They ain't really working with their teammates yet because they don't know what you about to do. So now that they've got those three, now I can focus on collaboration. How can I get the team to work together and collaborate over competition? I don't need y'all coming to my office and brown nosing with me. Listen, I don't like the brown nose. You ain't got to try to gas me up. Listen, how do we collaborate and win as a team?
I got you.
So then we start building collaborative, activities and workshops. And then the fifth C is connection. So one of the things that I do, and listen, if anybody's listening that's on my team now, they know every day I'm in the office.
Come on.
I go around and I greet every single employee every day. I greet them with a fist bump. I say, good morning.
Yeah.
How you doing? Every single
I love that. I love that.
And one time they asked me, well, Mr. Nelson, why do you do that? I say, really, I don't do it for me. I do it for you because somebody might be having a bad day.
They might be having
and I'm just trying to bring positive energy and say, hey, you know what? I appreciate you showing up today.
I love that.
And so it's more of a thank you for being here. And I say, if you do those 5 very well, you'll get the last C, which is commitment. So to me, I just kind of talk through some practical examples of, as a new leader, how you can get into that environment, gain commitment, and buy-in early. So then you can get your vision and your mission executed, because you don't want no pocket vetoes going on and you're trying to get things done.
That's true, though. So listen, I love the fact, like, how you broke it down, though, because I think a lot of times people are writing books, but they don't know what the book about.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be so crazy because I know, I'm gonna look at this camera. I know when you creating ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I know exactly when you create, because
the format,
most of y'all, the flow, the format, most of y'all don't take out that thing, the icon look like. I know when y'all using it. Y'all need to stop being lazy. You know what I'm saying? I know exactly when they're using it, though.
And here's what I'm gonna say: use the technology, but listen. It's not. You can't just use that and just spit that out, right? We'll use that for just topical, just like data.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have to formulate that on your own, like your own idea. So, and then this is before ChatGPT, by the way.
Yeah. That's why I told him my book. I wrote my book back. Let me tell you, God gave me the vision of my book in 1999.
Okay.
I didn't start writing the book into 2010. I didn't finish the book into 2012. And I didn't release the book until 2022.
Oh, dang.
It's a long journey.
Honestly, when COVID hit, I said, you know what? I'm gonna get this out. And what's crazy is that I was a global sales director at a cybersecurity company.
Okay.
I had a sales team in the Galleria and in London, right? And I was about to publish this book.
Come on.
Right? And so, excuse me. So I was at this other company. They had just given me some stock options or whatever that would vest, that was worth almost 6 figures, right? Really was about to get back the bag that I lost when I left the other company. So I'm like, here's an example why I say it ain't about the money to me. So if I'd have stayed with that company, as soon as that company sold or got, bought or whatever, that I would have cashed out. But I was publishing the book. I got called by a recruiter. It was an opportunity. And you know what I said? I said, you know what? I want to go over and see if I can implement these 6 C's and see if I can change the environment of the culture.
That's good.
That's one of the main reasons why, because it wasn't necessarily more money, right? And I just lost, because it did kind of hurt, because I started in October. By that November, the company sold.
Come on.
If I'd have waited 60 more days, I'd have had almost 6 figures in cash out.
I love it.
So to me, it was about, and I've been at this company, it'll be 4 years in October. And when you look at the results and you look at the impact and you look at, just what I use this book for.
Mm.
I'm proud of that. I don't care what happens.
And I tell people all the time, if they know, they know.
Mm-hmm.
Like people know that this is my first iteration of this is 9 years ago.
Look at that, but like Thundercat.
You know what I'm saying? Young Thundercat. Look, I was running around Baytown. I was doing all kind of stuff, man. Had a little intro. I'm out there working, man. That's why I try to.
Man.
Yeah, I try to tell. I'm like, I got receipts.
Yeah.
So it's not like when I'm talking to people, I'm not telling them stuff that I ain't already lived. Now look, it'll show you right here. Let me get to the bottom of it. What this say? Come on, here we go. How many years ago? That was 13. When really
13 years ago, yeah.
It was probably about 17 years ago. But then you can see me out motivational speaking. You got receipts.
That's Baytown, man.
That's Baytown. We got receipts though. You know what I'm saying? So if you see my book, some of that stuff I was talking about back then,
right,
it's how my book was formulated. And so I tell people that
you just take all of that, man. I mean,
yes.
So when you were talking about quotes, I mean, you know, one of my quotes is that I always say that I use every experience as an opportunity for growth and development. That's as I'm thinking about it now. That's one of my live by quotes. I use every experience that I went through as an opportunity for growth and development. It was good experiences, bad experiences. What I did know is that it was about growth. I learned something from that experience.
That's crazy.
So for me, nothing ever bad happened to me. I just learned some lessons.
Man, I love it. Listen, guys, I thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you guys, I'm going to put the show notes down at the bottom of the YouTube. But, man, hopefully you guys got some information. Hopefully you guys got your mind right. And I want to see you be a better leader. As I always tell you, man, thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button. But most importantly, I need you guys to go out and design the life you want, create the brand you deserve, but most importantly, leave your legacy. Die empty. Don't go to the gravesite with those dreams. Die empty. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Peace.
Yes.